Hello there. What is going on, everybody? Ahsoka. You probably heard a little bit about Ahsoka over the weekend. We're going to talk about all things Ministravaganza in this wrap-up video. I'm going to try to touch on all of the games that were covered. Marvel Crisis Protocol included, Legion, X-Wing, and yes, even Star Wars Armada, as a lot of fans may have been disappointed at the lack of news. However, there was a little bit of news that you may have missed. So we're going to talk about all of these games in today's wrap-up video. Also, I am probably going to be doing some double criticals over the weekend. It's basically just a live stream where you guys get to talk and we kind of go back and forth, kind of diving deeper into a little bit more on all of these games. Because all of the games deserve to be talked about a little bit, especially the Star Wars games that I cover. So we'll definitely do a double critical for Legion and X-Wing, and I think we'll even do one for Armada. But we're going to talk about all of the games in this wrap-up video as well to kind of give you the summary for everything that was talked about. If you guys are new here to the channel, we are still giving away a lightsaber. That lightsaber giveaway is going to be going until the end of August, so you've got plenty of time to win. All you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment on this or one of my videos. It's as simple as that. Also, I want to thank today's sponsor, Luxury Playstyle. Amazing full metal tokens. We've got order tokens in the red or order tokens in the blue. We've got all of our combat tokens. They're all double-sided. They are gorgeous. I helped collaborate to help bring these tokens to life. I have been asking Luxury Playstyle to get some Legion tokens. We definitely want Legion tokens, and you're going to love these tokens. Orders of $35 or more that save 15% using that Crabbok VIP code are going to get a free lightsaber nunchuck token. So definitely don't forget to save 15% by using code Crabbok VIP. Head over to luxuryplaystyle.com. Check them out. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about Ministravaganza. A very busy weekend, a lot of information that was given out. I think everybody at AMG deserves a couple of days break after all of the streaming and nonstop talking and very little rest and painting into the night. I know some people kind of have mixed kind of views on the painting streams. I think the painting streams are really good. I've seen a lot of people say that they really enjoy the painting streams, and while maybe I prefer the information streams, being somebody who is more in the business of kind of hyping up that information, I think the painting streams have a lot of value too. So let's talk about that first painting stream, Armada. We're going to talk about Armada. In short, Armada didn't get the news that we were looking for. There was a Rapid Reinforcements painting stream where a lot of people were hoping they would talk a little bit more about the next Rapid Reinforcements. And so we didn't really get any information about Armada in this particular stream. It was strictly a painting stream, but Dallas did paint two ships. He painted a Venator in kind of like a dark gray with little bits of red, and of course in him a Rebel Providence. And honestly, it came out pretty good. It was some pretty cool techniques that were used with like a lighter gray wash as opposed to the dark black wash, and lots of different layering and stuff. So I thought it was very interesting for people who are thinking about repainting their Armada ships. And I think it is important to recognize that they did an Armada stream. Okay, let's not forget that. Like last time, there wasn't one at all. So at least this time there was an Armada stream. Now, Dallas wasn't in the position to really be able to talk about Armada, but we did get some information later on. Will Schick, who certainly had a little bit more information to give and was at liberty to give a little bit more information later on in the convention, was able to give some Armada information. And this was during kind of more of an open chat type session. And so, again, I appreciate the information, but we did learn a little bit about what is coming up soon for Armada. And that is, if you guys remember, while it hasn't been formally announced yet, Will Schick did mention this in a previous stream a while back. The next OP kit for Star Wars Armada is coming soon. And we were beginning to wonder if they had forgotten about this, because we've had multiple OP kits for the other games. So this one is going to be kind of the idea of this one that we learned is that it's in the kind of the Kessel system. Your ships are kind of in the maw. If you remember the Kessel run, Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon and Lando and all them were being chased by a Star Destroyer. So capital ships can, certainly work in the maw, but you've got this awesome, they always call it a Shumagorath, but it's actually Suma Verminoth is its actual name according to Wikipedia. So the Summa Verminoth is certainly out there trying to eat ships and gobble up your fleets, and I don't know exactly what the goal will be. Maybe you're just trying to make it through, maybe you're trying to escape, maybe you're just trying to blow up the other fleet and then get out of there. But there's obviously going to be a third party trying to eat up all the ships it can, and that's going to be an OP kit that's coming to stores. Now, we learned a little bit about the name of this. It's going to be called the Summa All Things. You know, pun there, some of all things. So Summa All Things is the name of it. It should be starting to hit stores around October is the estimation, but it will also be on early display at Gen Con, which I will be there. So that means I'll be able to actually bring you guys some coverage of this new scenario, which I am very much looking forward to being able to do. So we did get a little bit of information. As far as other Armada stuff, we also did kind of, get to hear Will Schick talk about Armada a little bit, in that it is still very much included in their discussions and in I guess on the drawing board of things. He didn't say drawing board specifically, but basically if people were thinking that Armada was dead, and a lot of people there were I think a lot of salty people and upset, people were upset. I don't want to call them salty people, but people obviously were disappointed and letting that frustration show. But I think an important thing is that we just got rapid reinforcements just 3 months ago. I mean, we're used to getting maybe one thing a year, maybe one thing every 2 years. We just got rapid reinforcements 3 months ago. Now, it seems like it was a lot longer ago than that. It doesn't feel like we've gotten that much because, again, rapid reinforcements was kind of a smaller wave, but it was a great project and it was really cool that it was dropped. The problem was that I think a lot of people were expecting more hype surrounding it or more lead time, because if we're just going to get a PDF release, we didn't really get any advance warning that was coming. And I think a lot of people would love to hear that, that they're at work working on something, or that it's in the pipe, to be patient. We have more Armada stuff coming. People would love to hear something concrete like that, or what's the plan on, whether it's going to be new ships or if it's going to be more rapid reinforcements style things to give you new ways to use your existing stuff. I think that's certainly a very good guess, because that seems to be what they're doing in X-Wing. So, but they have not forgotten about Armada. They just don't have anything to say right now, is the current, outside of the, hey, you just got rapid reinforcements and you're also getting this new OP kit. So there is certainly stuff to talk about right now, but nothing about new product, new tournament products, although there is also Worlds coming up at Adepticon. So got a little bit about Armada, but really not what people were wanting. People wanted to hear Rapid Reinforcements 2, ? You put a 1 after Rapid Reinforcements 1. So can we say, so that's what people kind of want, and I definitely want that too. Maybe we'll hear something new soon. I'm sure by next year we'll get a Rapid Reinforcements 2. I mean, one Rapid Reinforcements a year sounds reasonable, but I'd love to hear that is maybe a projection for them. I'd love to hear about some ideal kind of projections and stuff like that. It gives us hope, and it gives us something to kind of plan the hype around, right? And make it easier on me to be like, hey guys, just be patient. We know we got something coming next year. I'd love to hear that. So that's kind of where we're at for Armada. Let's jump into Legion. We got a lot of Legion to talk about. I'm going to try and get through a lot of this really quick. We've got Din Djarin. We've got a lot of unit cards, a lot of upgrade cards, even command cards, a lot of things spoiled about Legion. It's beautiful. So Din Djarin looks awesome. He's going to be close range bounty hunter for the Rebels or the Empire. Arsenal 2. And he's got a versatile weapon, so even if you take no upgrades on him at all, he can go in and melee for 2 dice, but then also shoot somebody else in while he's engaged, because he's got versatile on there. He's got a lot of stuff to get aims, independent aim, and dodge. Of course, he's got bounty for the Rebels, by the way, first bounty hunter for the Rebels. Tactical 1, great upgrades. He's speed 2 for Mandalorian. He doesn't have jump either, but that's because this guy is based on Season 1 Mando, who's kind of started out without that stuff. This is the big talking point for Mando, though, the Amban rifle. He is, it's not really, it's a melee-only weapon, right? So, like, he's if you look at the top, it doesn't have a ranged attack dice. It just has melee dice. So he's butt-stroking you with it, which is going to be cool if he's in melee, because that all of a sudden brings it up to 5 black dice with Surge to Crit and Lethal 1 and, and Immobilize and Suppressive, all that cool stuff. Really cool melee presence. Again, this guy wants to be up close. He's not as much of a sniper, but if he does need to snipe, he can use this double action. That symbol means if you spend both your actions, which normally Din Djarin will have 2 actions on a turn. That's generally how it works. Of course, if he's suppressed, he won't be able to do that. But if you spend 2 actions, if you're not engaged, you can perform a speed 1 move and then basically shoot somebody. The thing is, you just roll a red attack die on a hit or a crit. They just suffer the wound, and they gain a suppression token. So they don't even get to roll dodges. They can't. It doesn't matter if they're immune to pierce. Doesn't matter any of that stuff. It's an automatic hit. And a lot of people are like, oh, so he can just put a damage on like Emperor Palpatine through all of his guards and everything every round. And that could be a bummer if you're somebody who is relying on really great defense dice. That could also work really well against other Mandalorians with that Beskar armor. We also saw you got a flame projector. It was pretty standard flame projector. Red dice, blast spray, suppressive. It's pretty good. Melee or range 1. He's got the Mando jetpack. This is a good one. I think this is going to be kind of important for him. It's 15 points, though. Again, he had to pay a lot to get all that Beskar, right? He had to go through all of Season 1 to get this thing, so but it's going to give him +1 speed and jump 2. So, again, now all of a sudden he feels like a real Mandalorian with this thing. And he's got some great command cards. We know more. They talked about some of them more. They used them in gameplay. We'll talk about those in the live stream, but I'm kind of going through some images we have right now. We got Whistling Birds, maybe one of the coolest command cards ever. He's gonna get to do. It's almost like a fire. It's almost like a flamethrower on everybody, right? It's really that cool. You roll white dice for each unit, up to 3 units near you, and white die for every mini in the unit, and then they're gonna suffer wounds for each crit, hit, and surge. So again, that means a 3 out of 8 chance to hit on every for every mini near you. I mean, unless you, of course, it's got to be up to 3 units at range 1. So unless you have 4 units at range 1, which you usually don't, it means basically every mini has a 3 out of 8 chance of taking damage that's near you, which is really incredible. But now it does cost an action to do that, which means you can actually attack. You can do this first and then attack if you happen to be in the right spot, but it's a 3 pip, so you're going to have to wait a little bit. He's also got a 1 pip called This Is the Way, which is also pretty cool. And he does come with Grogu. Initial thoughts on Grogu, not good. All right, Grogu doesn't really give you a whole lot. They also said Grogu was rebel only, although this card doesn't actually display that, but there were a few typos and misprints that were addressed. Some were addressed. This one probably needs the rebel symbol up in the top corner if it's actually going to be rebel only, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Provides +1 health, right? He's also small, so you can't target him. And he's a counterpart for Din Djarin, although he can also go in IG-11. We'll see that a little bit later. 17 points, very expensive for a counterpart. For 1 hit point. It gives you Hunted, which is a very big liability. If Din Djarin should fall, or if Grogu should fall, it's potential. If Din is got only 1 hit point left, then Grogu will have to die. That's how the counterpoint thing works. But then somebody else can come up and claim him. Oh, granted, you can try and claim him too, but if the enemy claims him, they get a victory point. And so, that's the opposite of bounty. That's like, oh no, I was supposed to gain an extra victory point, but you got an extra victory point instead. Huge liability, especially considering that Din Djarin wants to be in melee a lot of the time. So why bring him? Well, because he's got latent powers. At the end of your activation, for free, you get to roll a red die, and basically on a blank or a surge, then you're so basically you got a 50-50 shot of him doing something. On a blank, he can heal you or heal somebody, which is really cool. And on a surge, he can throw out some immobilize and suppressions, which is also really cool. But then on a block, which is 3 of those sides, he does nothing. So you got a 50-50 shot of doing something. You won't be able to predict what he's going to do. I don't know if that's worth 17 points and risking losing the game over, right? We also learned that there is a command card that Grogu can play from your hand when you're attacked, or when somebody at range 1 of you is attacked. You can discard this command card from your hand, and then you're going to gain 2 dodge tokens and also deflect, the deflect keyword for the rest of the round. So I guess that kind of gives Grogu a little bit more incentive. So we'll have to see if that's his only card. We didn't get 100% spoilers from this from this expansion. There's still things they haven't shown us, like the Beskar spear. Some people were saying there was some confusion on whether or not there was a Beskar spear. They did confirm there is absolutely a Beskar spear, but we haven't seen it yet. I can't wait to see that. We got some spoilers for the IGs. So IG-88 has Armor, Arsenal 2, Bounty, Impervious, Sharpshooter 1. It doesn't have Independent, which is interesting. 2 weapons, Surge the Crit. Sorry about that. And red defense die. So IG-88 is going to be tough. Empire only. And we've got 5 health, 2 courage, and he's a droid trooper. We also have IG-11, Rebels or Empire, 105 points. Again, 2 weapons, range 4 and range 3. Armor 1, Gunslinger, Impervious, programmed, and he does have the programming, so you'll have to bring him something. We only got to see one of his programmings. He's Surge to Hit, red defense die, Sharpshooter 1. But they both seem pretty capable. And the nanny programming is actually really, really cool. He gains AI, dodge, or move. And, of course, you can then... Grogu gains counterpart IG-11, so you can put Grogu on him. Now, the interesting thing here is that... Okay, so if Grogu... What if you're playing him in the Empire? You know, that's an interesting thing. Also, nanny protocol or nanny programming has a 0-point cost. Now... If you're bringing Grogu, obviously, then that becomes a 17-point cost. But, I mean, it seems like you could run nanny programming without Grogu and just give him the free AI dodge move. I say AI dodge move for free because you have to take one. So if the other programming is more expensive, then this one might be the default card just for the cheaper option. We also got to look at the Boba Fett that AMG has begun designing from start to finish. This is a 100% AMG design. And they talked about that a little bit, which makes me wonder if like IGs were in the works under FFG or not. I guess we'll have to wait and see. You know, I always look at the credits and stuff whenever those get shipped in the pack. That's always fun. So Boba Fett, Rebel only currently, 120 points. He's got Fett's Gaffy stick or Gadurfi stick is the technical term. 3 red and a black, which is pretty nice. Surge to crit and surge to block. And he's got the carbine with range 3, 3 dice, pierce 1, jump 1, arsenal 2, impervious. The most amazing independent standby, which is awesome, and sentinel, which makes that even better. So really, really cool. He's more patient, right? He's old and he's just like, I'm just going to sit here and wait for you to screw up. And then he's got sharpshooter 1 and tactical 1. I really like it. Really good. Again, also speed 2, a little slower than young Boba, right? Jump 1 though, he's just a little slower, which is fair. We got to look at all of his command cards. A simple man, 1 pip. If he's not issued an order with this card, he gains marksman. This round, and he gains an aim token and increases the range of his ranged weapon by 1 to a maximum of 5. If Boba Fett is issued an order with this card. At the start of the activation phase, a unit at range 1 of Boba may perform a speed 1 move. So he gives a little bit of, hey, you get to move also, and I'm also gaining some other stuff. His 2 pip and making his way in the galaxy. Great art on these cards, by the way. Boba Fett may not perform attack actions during his activation. At the end of his activation, Boba Fett may perform an attack with only the following weapon against each enemy unit at range 1 and in line of sight. So this is kind of like Grievous's 1 pip, trained in your Jedi arts, right? He's going to go in there and then he's just going to go. So he wants to do 2 moves and then thwack everybody. Which is pretty cool, especially since he's got jump. He's not speed 3 anymore, but he can still, if he's going to do 2 moves, he still get pretty far. And then this one's interesting. Rule with respect. This one is a Boba Fett and 2 units. And this definitely has people thinking, okay, so Fennec Shand should be on the way, right? Because we've got these first 2. We don't have her yet. I'm sure she was like, her character was like made for Legion. Right? While Boba Fett has a face-up order token, when a friendly unit at range 1 and in line of sight of him makes a ranged attack, add a black die to their attack pool, which is really cool. I'm thinking like, what about Luke with like saber throw? Suddenly now you've got like a 5 black die throw. Might be pretty cool. And oh my gosh, Dark Troopers. Oh, this is a big one. Dark Troopers, big deal. They're heavy. Dark Troopers are coming, so is Gideon. We'll take a look. I got some pictures of some of the models. Armor, they have plotting. They brought plotting back. Plotting means you can only move once during your activation. Unconcerned is, hey, they don't get any of those benefits from cover. They're just gonna march right over barricades. They don't care, and you're gonna shoot them. They're not hiding behind anything. Unstoppable means they're going to activate twice, which means you're going to need extra heavy tokens. You're going to need 2 heavy tokens per Dark Trooper that you use. They start with 3 minis. All they have is a black die for range, no surge, right? So like, oh, they're hard to kill because they're armor and red defense die. But they're not that bad. They're actually worse at punching. You don't want to get in melee of these guys. Their punch is way worse than their ranged attack. But they have 2 heavy options, which is really cool, and a personnel option. Just incredible for a heavy. Like you can really load these dudes out, and a programming option, but they're not programmed, so you don't have to give them programs. There's so much they didn't show us about these. They did talk about some of the heavy weapon options. Moff Gideon, of course, will have a card that moves them around, and it's basically you have something I want. They talked about how they were going to have these guys start off the board and then jump in. This is very Stormcast Eternals kind of Age of Sigmar stuff. But instead of them starting off the board and then coming in, they start on the board and then you get to like move one of them. They get to kind of jump from on the board to somewhere else, which is pretty cool considering that they're kind of slow and they have plotting. So and then of course, but they have to start outside of range 2 of somebody. So it's kind of cool. Moff Gideon will have the Darksaber, of course. It looks awesome. And then there's the Dark Troopers. They're just, ooh boy. So one of the heavies, like they have a melee heavy too with the big Myrtleizer is what they're calling his big cricket paddle. They've got a range 2 guy with 2 red and a black, and then they've got a range 3 guy with I think 4 black and critical 1. So like they didn't show us the cards, that they described them, so they look cool. We'll talk more about those in the Legion double critical live stream. Talked about Ewoks a little bit. There's going to be, again, the Ewok Battle Force. You can also run some Ewoks with regular rebels like Mercs as usual. They will have a Chewbacca in an ATST that rebels will be able to use in that Battle Force. Finally. Right? I love it. And I think they said it's going to have incognito as well. Very, very cool. Very cool. Lots more to talk about with all of those things. Ahsoka is the biggest news, perhaps. This was the full of surprises stream. Did think that meant we were going to get an all-new Star Wars game since it didn't say Legion, but I think they just wanted everybody who played X-Wing and or Armada to tune in to see what this stream was. Now, this Ahsoka, if you're looking at this mini, you might notice it looks a little bit rough. A little bit rough. Like, some of the lines aren't perfectly smooth and straight. The lightsaber is a little bent. This is not a production copy. This is very, very early. There's still a whole year out with Ahsoka. It's not just Ahsoka, it's also Asajj Ventress. They didn't tell us much about these other than they'll both be operatives. Ahsoka will be for the Rebels. This is Fulcrum Ahsoka, based specifically on the Ahsoka that we see in Star Wars Rebels. Should be a little bit more protective. They are, and then Asajj will be an operative as well, but for the Separatists. This is based on Asajj from the Clone Wars movie in Season 1 of the Clone Wars, where she's still very much, Count Dooku's agent. So that is important. They're both going to have something in common. They're going to have a Jerikai Mastery, and they should also potentially have a lot of dice that they can roll since they're both using 2 lightsabers, which sounds very, very attractive to my playstyle. I like a lot of dice. It's one of the reasons I like Darth Maul so very, very much. They'll both be operatives. Now, GAR players are a little upset because they're like, wait, we're not getting Ahsoka for a Republic? And they said that they've definitely said, yes, you are. We are absolutely also doing Ahsoka for the Republic. It's just that Fulcrum Ahsoka will be the first one. But there's a whole wave that they're working on to be more commanders. Republic's definitely getting stuff. They said there's a whole lot of options, so I don't even have to give you guys a teaser because anything could be right. It could be there's plenty of clone commanders that could work. There's plenty of Jedi commanders that would work and stuff like that. So there's definitely more GAR stuff coming. I know a lot of Republic players are a little sad that Ahsoka is not coming first to the Republic, but she is absolutely coming. There may even be multiple more versions of her coming. You might have like little kid snips, and then you may have like 332nd Ahsoka from like seasons 5, 6, or 7 or something like that. There's you can get teenage Ahsoka in there too. You can have her as an operative and a commander for the Republic. I think that's what they'll do. I definitely think so. And I think this is definitely not the only version of Asajj Ventress. I think they'll do a Merc version of Asajj Ventress to work with Night Sisters at some point, because while they didn't say they would do that specifically, when we asked about factions and is this like which Asajj, is this a Merc, he's like, no, this version isn't a Merc. And you're like, oh, so they definitely have the door open for a lot of cool stuff like that, which I like to hear. I like when Will Schick is talking about these, because he's talking about a lot of cool stuff. All right, so X-Wing. Let's talk about a little bit about X-Wing, and we're gonna we'll just kind of show some of the new things that we got. So a couple of things we're gonna run through some of the cards. They are prioritizing reprints. They talk about next year we're gonna start to see some more, of the 1.0 ships coming back into 2.0. So things like the TIE Bomber and the YT-2400 is coming back. Dash will not be tournament legal. He's going to stay banned, kind of, but they're also going to rebalance the YT-2400. So it may come back in a 2.0, but may be different. So ship cards and stuff might be different. Also, the gunboats coming, the Star Wing, right? The gunboats are also getting reprinted, but they also said not every ship will come back into 2.0. In other words, certain 1.0 ships will stay extended or banned, which is very interesting. But they also talked about the new starters are coming too. They're going to be doing new individual faction starters. So if you want to play X-Wing, you're looking to get into X-Wing, and you just want to play Empire, there should be an Empire starter for you, which is great. Now all the new 2.0 packs will have standard loadouts. Standard loadouts is something they're going to be doing more and more and more of, and doesn't mean if you're not a fan of standard loadouts, don't worry, you can still build your own stuff. You absolutely can. But I think once more and more standard loadouts come out, it's going to be better for new people to get into it. I'm personally a big fan of standard loadouts because I don't like the new list building rules, and so I'd rather just grab a card and go and be done, because it says everything you do here on the cards. One thing is you'll notice on X-Wings is they don't have the S-foils. They don't have flip cards. They don't have flip cards. And since you can't boost, you kind of have this whole attack speed keyword that all the X-Wings are going to have, trying to do their attack run, at least in this pack. And all of the non YT-1300 ships have Hope, which is a new, it's similar to Hopeful, but it's after another friendly ship at range 0 to 3 is destroyed, you may perform an eyeball, a focus rather, or a boost action. So yeah, so you can, it's slightly different, but they're kind of giving you that boost ability in there. They don't want you to have to flip these. I don't understand exactly why they couldn't just put the flipped version of the text on the other side of the card. I don't know what's on the back of these standard loadouts. There may be a good reason for that. I guess we'll wait and see. But like all of these pilots have slightly tweaked pilot abilities. Biggs will copy somebody's pilot skill if he's next to them, their initiative value. You have Selfless. They all have proton torpedoes. Also, you got R2, F2, Selfless, and attack speed. On him is going to let you do a free boost. Now, not a boost action, but just a boost after you go 3 or 4. Basically, it can increase them to... Their 4s now is basically a speed 5-ish. Actually, more than that. Because it's... I guess a 3 would be a 5, because you get in your base of your ship also with the boost. And so a speed 4 is actually a 6-up. Isn't it? Speed 6. So you kind of have your first 6 straight, and then if you do if somebody else is destroyed, you can do a free boost action. So you can really go extremely fast with ships that have attack speed and Hope, which is really interesting. We got Hall Oakland, who also has Hope. Doesn't have attack speed again. Y-wings are a little bit slower, but during the system phase, if there are no enemy ships at range 1 to 2, you may recover a charge on any upgrade, such as your advanced proton torpedoes or the precise astromech dorsal turret over there, damage 3 turret. So very cool. Some classic ties are making a resurgence. Mauler Mythal, Dark Curse, Backstabber. Very fun to see all of the classic crew of ties showing back up. When you perform a primary attack, friendly Darth Vader or Mauler Mythal is in your side arcs at range 0 to 1. You can roll an extra attack die. I think Mauler Mythal has very much the same, very similar ability, so they want to be flying together. And you've got Crackshot, Disciplined, and Afterburners over here. They talked a little bit about the TIE Interceptors. And this is great art, by the way. And there was more that they showed. I'm not showing you every single card, but there's definitely more. And those are all over. Like a lot of them are posted in on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Discord. If you're not in my Discord already, you definitely should be. We got a lot of this stuff in there. This one actually had to be changed a little bit, so this isn't the actual final version. Basically, this one had a little typo. So if you see this one, they reposted another one. I just had this one in my files that I had downloaded. If it's got targeting computers, so it should actually have the target locker over here on the action bar, right there. So the corrected version does have that there. Also, it says during the system phase, you may spend a charge to acquire a lock on the defender. That was changed to an enemy ship because there is no defender during the system phase. So what are they talking about? So yeah, it's a lock on an enemy ship, not just a lock, because normally you can do a lock on a lot of different things. But this one is specifically an enemy ship. We also got to look at some of the scenario cards for the Battle of Yavin. The Battle of Yavin scenario only for Yahoo! This is a Han Solo kind of coming in to help Luke out. At the start of the Place Forces step, the Rebel player may assign this condition to a friendly large ship. Well, since the YT-2400s are the only large, I'm sorry, the YT-1300 is the only large ship there, it has to be on that because it's Battle of Yavin scenario only. You start in reserve. And then when somebody does the attack run, you then can be placed anywhere in the play area beyond range 1 of enemy ships, then gain 1 strain token and a focus token, and you engage at initiative 7 on your turn, on the turn you enter the play area. Remove this condition during the end phase and the round in which you enter play. So if you want to basically, this is straight up Stormcast Eternals, like jumping in. Again, Age of Sigmar reference, the big thing, this is the faction I play over there, they start off the board and then they jump onto the board in the middle of the game. That's what this is doing. Kind of like Han just showing up late, but better late than never. It's the equivalent of going to Thanksgiving dinner, waiting, not helping out, and once the table's all set and everybody's almost ready to eat, you go to your grandmother and say, "Grandma, can I help? Do anything?" And she goes, "Oh, no, sweetie, just sit down and enjoy the food. Thank you so much for asking." You know, like you showed up late and you got the credit. It's Han with the Yahoo card. We also have the attack run. Ships with advanced proton torpedoes or proton torpedoes only, and there's a lot here. Basically, you're doing your attack run, but you can attack the exhaust port only with one of your torpedoes. You can spend the lock to recover all of your inactive charges. After attacking the exhaust port, or your force charges. So you can, like Luke can turn off his targeting computer to get his force back, which is really funny. And then during the end phase, you may exit the trench. If you're not completely overlapping the trench, remove the condition. But yeah, you always engage at initiative 0 also. So you're trying to make your shot. You're trying to blow up the Death Star. But you have to go last, which is pretty cool. Not only did we get all of that, they talked a little bit about the future. There's going to be lots of other scenario packs coming with a lot of other standard loadouts. I keep wanting to call them quick builds. They're slightly different than quick builds because they actually have all the information in there, and they are point costed to match with the new point system. But they're doing the Siege of Coruscant next with lots and lots of stuff from Episode 3's opening. We got Anakin out here in the ETA 2 for Siege of Coruscant. He's got Malice, so Anakin has a dark side upgrade. All of the ETA 2s have the ancillary ion weapons, so if you have crits, you can basically spend your 2 charge and deal ions instead of damage from those crits, which is nice. Anakin's ability works with Obi-Wan Kenobi, whether it's Obi-Wan Kenobi from Siege of Coruscant or a regular standard Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he has R2-D2. We also have Shock T. She has an ability. Of course, she can coordinate somebody who has the Born for this ship ability, and then she can do 1 additional ship. Now, the cool thing about that is we're going to take a look. Born for this is going to be on some of the clones that we have in this particular expansion, which is kind of fun. She also has the ancillary ion weapons. She'll have marksmanship, brilliant evasion, and an R4P. We have Dooku is also one of the ones that is there. He'll be on the Scimitar, the Sith Infiltrator, and he'll have Malice and Roiling Anger, which is a kind of a newer one. At the start of the engagement phase, if you are in an enemy ship's forward arc, you may gain a strain token to recover 1 force. And during an attack before a ship at range 0 to 2 rolls attack or defense dice. If all of your force are active, you may spend 1 and name a result. If the roll does not contain the named results, the ship must change 1 die to the result. So we also have some new droids that are in there. And there's more. I'm not showing you 100% of everything they showed us, but there is more out there as well. We've got Dis T91, who's got outmaneuver, afterburners, and contingency protocol. Of course, he does have network calculations and a new pilot ability as well. Lots more that are out there, and you know, again, I feel like they're going to do one of these for every single ship, which is cool. They also talked about other scenario pack ideas. They were talking about doing. Let's see, what other ones did they talk about doing? They named off some, like, all these other battles, just about any other space battle. I think they mentioned Jakku. You know, they mentioned Endor. You know, all of this other stuff. They talked about an Endor event next year, taking down the Super Star Destroyer. You know, very cool. Also, Hot Shots and Aces 2 is coming. Hot Shots and Aces 2. 5 new pilots for every faction. Again, more cards using the same ships you already have, but new cardboard. And that kind of summarizes all the X-Wing stuff, right? It's pretty much just new cardboard, no all new ships. You know, although I guess technically the YT-2400 might be all new, depending on how they do it. Although I believe the molds and everything will stay the same, but they're redesigning that one. But yeah, we got getting a new Poe in the Falcon who can basically catch it on fire by doing some kind of boost or barrel roll, and then he gets to expose the damage card, which is really fun. We got Jewel Jerjerrod for the First Order bomber. After you perform a boost action, you can spend a charge to remove a non-lock red or orange token. He's got pursuit thrusters, and he's got 3 charge on him. So very cool. I don't know who Jewel Jerjerrod is. I don't know if it's Jerjerrod's like kid or grandkid, perhaps. One cool thing was they were one pilot short, so they talked to us about that. They got to actually develop Tor Fun. This was an all-new character AMG got to create, which is very cool. So very Mandalorian in their design here. After you perform an attack, the defender was destroyed. You may perform an action. Even while stressed, then you may gain 2 strain tokens to perform a bonus attack. Love it. Love it. And I think that's most of the X-Wing stuff. There's also some Marvel Crisis Protocol news, some new, some new sets that they're doing. This is a really cool one. They're doing kind of like the Doc Ock and Spider-Man stuff. They're having another Wolverine versus Sabretooth on this kind of bunker here, which is very, very cool. Lots of new ways to get existing stuff. So a lot of new starters they've been doing. There's an Asgardian starter. There's some new starters for, like the mutants. New starters for like the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and then for the Uncanny X-Men have a new starter, and lots of like new entry points for players. So that much is very, very cool. But the news that really got me the most excited was this right here: Sentinels finally coming for Marvel Crisis Protocol. This was, there's lots of news, but this is my favorite piece. There's going to be Sentinels. Not only are they just coming, they're going to be a playable faction. So, I had kind of taken a break. I haven't bought anything for Marvel Crisis Protocol in a little while, and this is pulling me back in. I have to play Sentinels now. I have to get a Sentinel Army. This is the most beautiful. I love it. I love it. Like I've wanted to do like a giant army for a long time. I was looking at, there's like a giant faction in Warhammer Age of Sigmar I was thinking of running, but like these guys look really fun, and they're going to be absolutely glorious to paint. My airbrush is like, oh, get me purples and oranges or purples and reds. I like doing purples and reds with the airbrush, and it's going to work really well with these guys. They're going to be so fun. I love it. Can't wait. Cannot wait. They look super groovy, and also some Hydra terrain. This is kind of cool. So they're doing some a little bit more modern-ish looking comic booky Hydra terrain, and they spent a lot of time painting this. It's very cool looking terrain. I like it. It's fun. This tank has different parts that swap in and out of it. They did some painting streams with these, so you can definitely go check those out if you want to watch and see. Dallas was gushing over this terrain. I think he spent a lot of time working on this one. Also, This is coming with an ultimate encounter where you can go up against Red Skull in that tank, and he's got like a super tank, and he's shooting, blowing up the place, and then and you're trying to defeat him, and they said it's going to be pretty tough to defeat. So that's the ultimate encounter that comes with that. So you get two things. You get an ultimate encounter, and also you get some cool terrain that you can use as well. So that's kind of like my quick wrap-up summary. I say quick, we're almost at like 40 minutes right now. So let me go ahead and like wrap everything up. We'll be doing some more live streams talking about these games and the future in the coming days. And then Gen Con is just around the corner, everybody. So I'll be there trying to cover as much as I can. I want to thank you all so much for watching. Big thanks to my patrons. You guys are out of this world. Don't forget to fasten your seatbelts, and when the seatbelt sign is lit, and we are expecting some rough air.